first thing I'd like to ask is, the three of you in the film are friends, and I find that so odd that a group of three women are friends, because in my situation's not representing all women, but two women are friends and one's always the outsider, and in the movie it seemed to be the three of you. Was it like that, or was there a character that was the outsider? I'll just throw that up for anyone.
I was a bit of the scapegoat.
The scapegoat?
In the beginning, I'm the one, yeah, I think.
Well,
We turn on you sometimes too?
Yeah, you
we
guys
did.
turned on me once. You told me I was
We're
brown-nosing
equally
once.
abusive, I guess that's why we're equally friends.
Because I thought that, did you find that unusual in the script though when you looked at it? Because that's the first thing that hit me was three women that are friends, and I mean.
No, because I have a lot of, I have
I
more
have-
than two friends.
Yeah.
Nobody's the outsider.
Different people suit different needs, you know.
I mean, I think that the dynamic changes subtly with those friendships as you go on, but I think it's possible to have, you know, a tight-knit group of three women being friends.
Okay, now, you were the first one cast, right, Michelle?
Mhm.
When you got cast, you knew what part you were reading for?
Well, they were a little confused about that at the time.
Actually,
Actually-
many actresses read for many parts before
Yeah, I mean,
us.
you know, up until the day before I tested for this movie, they were going back and forth as to which part I was testing for, depending on who called me to give me scene numbers.
So when did you finally find out that this was the cast, all three of you were whoever you were, and you knew your characters?
May, the end of May,
We started
Yeah.
rehearsal in June.
Yeah.
June, yeah, the beginning of June.
Okay, now, Susan, your character had the cello playing, right? And it's written up in the bio and things like that. Was it hard for you? Because I think people perceive actresses as being kind of, you know, almost like the mood rings of people. Give them anything and they can do it, they can adapt to it. Was
You know,
playing the
I
cello
was
really
under
hard?
the same impression until I got the cello. Everything's always come very quickly to me, and this was by far the most heinous experience of my life in terms of having to acquire a talent overnight. And I worked really hard at it, and I had a very patient teacher. And finally we learned
And very
a little-
patient friends who had to listen to you
Listen to me.
complain
Yeah,
about
but you
having
know
to
what?
learn this
She was
cello.
so good that I'm really tired of hearing
Yeah,
this, because
yeah. We
she
heard
was
about
so
this
good, and we heard how
for
awful
weeks.
she was, and then when we saw her, we were like,
We were shocked.
we were shocked, and you did it. The problem is that Sue is too capable.
That's the problem?
What's the
That's your problem.
God, I'm glad you told me this before I left for vacation.
Okay.
Now I'll be able to cool
Now you
out
can just
completely.
chill. You can just
Yeah.
chill and, you know, lay back.
Now, Michelle, you had the child factor, right? When you were dealing with all these kids, who was in charge with you and the kids? When you were playing their mother, were you in charge on the set?
Me, of the kids.
Was it hard being?
Very hard. Very hard. I mean, they're a handful, let me tell you. Their attention span is about
Except
10
for the
minutes long.
twins.
Yeah, well, the twins, because they're older, and actually they helped a little in keeping the other kids in line. But those little ones, boy, you know, you have to spend so much energy trying to get them just to do what they're supposed to do, and then they get cranky after 10 minutes that you leave realizing you didn't do anything you wanted to do in the scene. It was all about... I mean, I have this one scene where I walk into Alex's house and I was watching that's all I did. I like walk into the house because all I was concentrating on, are the kids going to go
That's
upstairs?
like a real mother.
That's true.
That's exactly the metaphor for your life. Everything
mhm.
was about the kids.
That's true.
Couldn't get done anything you wanted to do.
Now,
Yep.
Cher, when Susan had the cello playing, Michelle had the kids, what did you actually have to learn how to sculpt? Was that a skill that you had to get
No,
for this?
I just played around with the clay. Actually, I was quite good at it, if you would remember
I
certain
noticed.
part of the body that I was particularly good at.
During rehearsal, she made a whole little house with a
No,
couch.
no,
and-
Sue made it.
Well, that was Sue.
Yeah, I didn't get really
That's
good
right.
until when we were making Dare at the end.
You're a money actor.
That's true. I'm not going to do it for nothing.
Why did you do the film,
I wanted to work with Jack.
Susan?
I wanted to work with Jack.
And Michelle?
I wanted to work with Jack, and I really liked the script.
Did you read the book at all beforehand, or did you hear about the book?
I tried to read the book. I could never get through it. I didn't like it.
I chose not to because I had heard that it was very different from the script, and there was so little time and there was so much confusion that it was already so hard to focus in on anything that I didn't want anything to confuse me anymore.
I read it and I just felt it was useful as a point of departure. But
Yeah,
not
but-
really.
Exactly. Was it hard with, you had a male director directing three distinct female characters, and, you know, I felt like all three of you had elements of any woman, really, you know. There was like a dominant element in all of you, but you were all, you know, the three different parts of women. Was it hard with the male director who said, no, it should be this way?
It was harder for him.
Yeah, he had a much harder time. talking. Ha 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 ha.
Michelle, your character Suki, I think, I related to her the most. I hate using terms like that, like related to, but I think she's probably most like me. Was she most like you? I mean, out of the three women.
No, I don't think I'm really like any of these three women.
I thought the three of us made up one really interesting
Yeah,
woman.
exactly. That's it.
That's kind of how we approached it.
Now, the director's saying it's, the battle of the sexes, and, I mean, I guess the audience would say that too. Do you think there's a winner in the end of this? Do, the men win, the women win?
I think it's the battle goes on. I think that we won this round.
I think it's a draw, and why would you want there to be one winner? Then what are you going to do for the rest of the time? I think if you can stay even, you've accomplished quite a lot.
Okay, I'd like to talk just quickly a bit about future projects, if that's all right. Susan, what are you going to be? You're flying off to Italy, right? Is that
Well,
a project?
I just finished Sweetheart's Dance with Don Johnson, Jeff Daniels, and Elizabeth Perkins, and now I'm going to Europe to be in real life with my child, and that's, for a while. I'm just taking off.
Okay, Michelle?
I'm going to Europe. I'm going to France with Cher, and then I'm going to Italy with Susan and take a vacation. I'm working on a PBS movie right now. It's a John O'Hara short story called Natica Jackson. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, Cher.
Well, I finished a movie with Norman Jewison called Moonstruck, and I finished another movie with Peter Yates called Suspect, and I'm finishing my album, and then I'm going with Michelle and my kids to Europe, and then we're going to join Sue.
So you guys genuinely like each other?
We're not lying.
No, we're just too cheap to have separate
I had a house.
vacations. You got a house,
They said, you owe me. I borrowed her clothes during the
Right.
filming, so now they're
We
coming.
won't talk to each other. It's a big house.